My name's Christopher Churcher. I'm a composer, and I'm currently here in Somerville Chapel, in Somerville College in Oxford, and I'm recording a debut album of my music with Somerville College Choir.
It's the first time I've worked with a member of the choir on their own compositions, and to do so with Christopher Churcher, whose compositions are really quite fantastic, has been a real privilege for us and the choir.
It's wonderful to be in this building in Somerville College Chapel. This is the home of the choir. This is where we sing every Sunday.
It's something particularly special to be in our own college, to be able to relax on the grass outside in between sessions.
And it's a beautiful space, a non-denominational chapel, a place of worship for all faiths. And I've always found it a beautiful, bright, and inclusive space to be in. So when we were approaching the album, we really wanted it to be a collection that encompassed a broad range of music that I've written over the last 4 years. So the first piece was written when I was 17, and it goes all the way through to music that I've written this year. And the big piece at the center of the disc is called Pride Motets. It's a 3-movement choral cycle for choir and piano, and it explores ideas of queer narratives, setting texts by queer poets. The first Pride Motet is called My Love, and it sets a text by an Elizabethan poet called Richard Barnfield. And it sets this sonnet, which was written 400 years ago, and yet speaks explicitly about this queer desire from to a explicitly male subject. And I've always found this so moving and so resonant reading this in the 21st century.
It's difficult to pick out a single highlight on the disc. I'm very fond of the more straightforward repertoire, such as Wonder, which is a lush accompanying texture to a very lovely tune. However, there's also the first movement of the Pride Motets, which is extremely complex in terms of rhythm, and harks to the sort of John Adams minimalistic era, of which I've been very fond since I was a student. I love the fact that Christopher's been inspired by the sort of sound world of the pulsing rhythms, and it's really just a lovely thing to be part of.
The third Pride Motet is a setting of words by Cummings, I Carry Your Heart With Me. And for me, this is the most beautiful piece of love poetry in the English language. Something that I find really interesting about setting this poem and setting the work of Cummings is the use of parentheses. So you read the poem and you have certain bits which are outside, and then certain bits which he hides in these parentheses. And in this antiphonal setting, using 2 choirs, I wanted one choir to give voice to the words within the brackets, and then the other choir to voice the other words in the poem. And I think by doing this, you create this sense of an internal dialogue within the poem. And I think that's one that really gives voice to the different ideas which go in within the text itself. I think it speaks so beautifully of joy and the perfection that you find in someone that you fall in love with. And I've tried to make it such an uplifting, moving setting of the poem. The disc ends with a setting of a poem called Echo by Christina Rossetti. What I was so inspired by in this poem was the way that Rossetti talks about her mourning very individually in the 3rd stanza. And in setting this, I take a trio of soloists who sing from a very personal point of view, voicing the persona's own sense of mourning and loss in the poem. It's such a privilege to be able to work with Somerville College Choir and the director, Will Dawes. They are such an amazing choir, such a friendly group of people, such a diverse mix of voices from different singing backgrounds, and they make such a beautiful, vibrant sound. And it's one that I've been completely inspired and transported by ever since the first time that I heard them sing.
This album, I think, represents a wonderful tasting menu of all of Christopher's styles. I would heartily encourage you to dip in and out of it, finding your favourite track. There's bound to be one on there somewhere.